Anthony Nash, former Cork hurler, joins us now as part of the AirGrid timing sponsorship launch. AirGrid, Ireland's grid operator, is now in its 7th year as the official timing partner of the GAA. Anthony, good morning to you. How are you getting on?
Well, lads, how are you keeping?
Yeah, good.
I'd be more happy to talk about golf now than hurling, if that's okay, if you want to continue that talk.
What are you playing off?
One.
All right. A
bad one, yeah.
Well, how the hell did you get the time to be a golfer off one when you were married to the GAA as you were? Yeah,
when I was playing, I was off about 6, and I hardly ever played my handicap. But since I finished, I got a few lessons and stuff, and I've taken it a bit more serious. I love it. I've always loved it. When I was young, my father got me into it. So every time it was my break from hurling was golf. So just absolutely loved it and still do. It's certainly my favourite sport. So when you started talking about your battle there, I was wondering how could I wangle my way into a 4-ball there.
No problems. I'd say you're short off the tee, are you? That's my prediction here, is that you don't hit the ball very far at all.
I hit it far enough, but it can be far enough left and right as well. That's the issue.
And are you like a standard left hand on top, proper grip?
No, I actually hurl golf the same way as I hurl. So I have my right hand on top, but I'm left-sided. So I actually have the hurley grip for the left-hander. Do you know what I mean? So I have the right hand on top of the golf club as well. So I actually have the proper golf.
So you play golf left-handed?
Yeah. I would have turned myself inside out on the hurling field to get onto my left-hand side. So I was never going to chance the right-hand side.
And are you actually left-handed?
Oh God, you're going to make me out to be a right weirdo here now. So I write my right, but if I was throwing, I'd throw with my left hand. So
wow, proper ambidextrous.
It sounds good, but I don't know am I any good at either one of them. I as I said, it fits in perfectly for golf.
And
absolutely love it.
Did your coach try and knock the hurling grip out of you, or did he say to you?
No. It's actually perfect. It's a golf grip for a left sider. Yeah, it's actually the perfect grip for golf. Yeah, so. If I was right-sided, I'd have it cack-handed. But yeah, absolutely spot on. So I'm wondering, was I a golfer playing hurling instead of the other way around? So.
Oh man! And if you could go back to yourself as a 16-year-old, would you be like, give up that out hurling? We're going
making money.
Golf. I don't think I've ever met. I'm good buddies with John Murphy from Kinsale, and I play golf with him. I played with him one day, and I said, "You're playing golf. I don't know what the hell I'm playing." He's just the level of amateur golf even is scary. So I'd be country miles off that. So it's frightening what the young fellas can do nowadays with golf. So I think if I tried golf, I wouldn't have made it at that either. So I think I made the right decision.
What's your club? Your golf club?
It was always Cantork, but I'm Lee Valley in Cork. So absolutely, love it up there. Great crack up there as well.
Very good. Well, we'd be happy to continue this, but we do have.
Yes.
To, we do have to bring up the hurling. So what is the story in Cork at the moment?
So like I was saying there, I was doing something there last week, and I was saying it's very reminiscent of our 2016 year where we lost to Wexford in Thurles, and Wexford were coming now. Like Liam Dunn was over the team, and it was before Davy went in, so they were always strong, but they weren't at the top table at the time, and we felt, I suppose, that we had a chance after winning, 13, 14, and we were doing okay. But 16, everything just capitulated. Everything we tried to do went wrong, and it just felt wrong throughout the whole year. And you were trying to convince yourself that you had a chance. You always had a chance, but looking back on it, we never did. And it just seems to be the same. Seems to be the same at the moment. Whatever, it's either the game plan just isn't working, or just the whole mood in the camp isn't good. But it just doesn't seem to be right at the moment anyway down there.
And how do you fix something like that?
I was saying, trying making things exciting again, and I would change the team around a little bit. No, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You can't change the game plan completely, but even a movement of one or two players just to make it exciting. On Sunday against Waterford, I would put Patrick Horgan at centre forward, just to change things up. And I know a lot of teams, I know Cork are the same. They're measuring off GPSs and kilometres ran and all this stuff. But I don't understand why we can't try something different. He plays centre forward for Glen Rovers, and even a little change like that, and make Ty to Burke think about sitting off him so much, and plus the game plan they're playing, he's not getting that much ball inside in the full forward line anyway. They seem to be working the ball out to midfield, trying to get the perfect delivery, and it's delayed in at that stage. So even a little change like that, I think, might just something just needs to change. You can't change the whole thing obviously, but just a little tweak maybe just to make it a little bit more exciting again.
The level of criticism has been fierce and sustained, and I think Cork hurlers are kind of one of those premium brands that is always prone to overreaction either side, and things are going great, they're the greatest team of all time, but when things are going in any way bad, they are literally the worst team that you've ever seen. They're not trying to leg, everything is wrong. The management is wrong, the strength and conditioning is wrong, the attitude of the players is wrong. they don't want to play for Cork. Everything is being levelled at them at the moment. Like, you've recently been associated with this group of players. You know them intimately. Is there any truth in any of that?
So, like, it's funny, like, when Cork win their first league game, you see up on Twitter, fellas, books the tickets for the Burlington the night dollar in the final. Do you know what I mean? Like, so Cork supporters, they're funny, like, you know, they follow us to the end, like, they're brilliant. And I think you actually summed it up to perfection. Like, there seems to be no middle ground with us. We're either terrible or brilliant. I find it very hard after coming out, and I do a bit of media work and stuff like that, and I find it very hard to kind of criticise a player because I know the effort that goes in. Like, I can guarantee you the effort is going in training. I can guarantee you that they're going out and they're trying their level best. And just sometimes a year happens whereby, like, again, it's not that I'm pinning it on a game plan, but maybe the game plan just isn't, suiting the opposition they're playing. Like, they're trying to run the ball out against Limerick and Waterford, and it's just when they bring an intensity against you, it's probably not the best way to do it. And in Tipperary on Sunday showed that when you kind of try and move the ball away from the tackle point, that's the way to beat these teams if you can. And they obviously couldn't sustain it for 70. But like, the players, I'm telling you now, like, I know they're, as you said, they're probably been told that they're soft, that they don't work and all this. It's not true. It's not true. Like, they're giving 5 nights of their week up to train and play for Cork. And maybe it's just not good enough this year. I don't know. It's not all over. It's not an impossibility to go down to Waterford and win. It's probably an improbability, like, because when you look at it, you have to look at their last 3 games. Limerick Waterford in the league final, Limerick in the championship, and Clare in the championship. The intensity, I suppose, or the game plan didn't fit at the right time. So I don't know. I'd hope that they get a kick. And I think the Tipperary performance against Limerick, for an outside person like myself looking in, would give Cork hope of putting in that one last shift to hopefully get over the line and keep themselves in the championship. Well,
it's not an All-Ireland final because there's no medal at the end of it, but it's like a season-defining end of season.
It's more than a season-defining game. I think it's a career-defining game for a lot of people. Down in Cork, they're talking about the management being gone already. They're talking about certain players being gone already and all this stuff. Like, it is a career-defining game for me, for a lot of those players and management. Because to think about it, like, being in May and being out of the championship, I know it's the way the championship has gone and it's the way the format is, but it'll be a very long year for Cork, and having to go down to Tipperary and dead rubber would be just brutal altogether.
So what happens then if they lose, if it's a career-defining game? Will there be a big turnover of players then in the off-season?
It depends. Like, the big thing is what the county board will do. Like, there was talks of the management being offered an extra year during the league campaign. Now, whether that is still there or not, I don't know. You hear, you know yourselves, there's the rumours. And as you said a while ago there, the rumour mill about, Cork being brutal and players doing this, and that's ripe at the moment in Cork. And I do feel sorry. And the one thing I feel sorry about is players' families. Like, that's why I always find it very hard to criticise individuals, because it's not them getting hurt. Because as players, we usedn't read papers or listen into stuff, but their family do. So, like, the big thing here is what the county board decide to do. Like, are they going to extend the management for that 1 year? And if that is the case, then, a lot of the players might turn over. But if a new manager comes in, it's like you're talking soccer there a while ago. Like, a new manager comes into a club, like, you don't know what he's going to do with his squad, and it's the same in hurling. So I think if they lose to Waterford, I think there's going to be a big sit down. I think they'll have to be looking at stuff, with whether it's the management going or whether a change of it, or as in adding to it or whatever. Like, their 2 new coaches are just in, like Noel Furlong and Pat Mulcahy. So I suppose they'd find it very hard to not give them a second year. But again, look, it's the county board's decision to make. So, but it wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen.
Like, it's interesting, like, that the questions automatically go a bit higher than the team as well, given that they've been in the under-20 finals 18, 19, and then one of the following 2 years after that there is questions about how is this young crop of players being taken to the next level in terms of fitness and strength and conditioning. Is your sense that those elements are being looked after well enough, or is there still a bit of work to be done in those areas?
So when I came out, like, I still have very good friendships with the players. So, like, when I'm doing stuff like this or I'm doing other stuff for media, I tend to stay away from the players talking about hurling like that, because I don't want them to feel like that I'm taking stories that they might be saying to me or asking me for advice, and you know what I mean. So, like, from what I gather, like, they have a very professional setup inside there. Like, Stephen Casey's the S&C coach, he's supposed to be brilliant, So I'd say they are, but, like, what people have to understand, right, is that, like, under 20 hurling, like, years ago, under 21 hurling was, you were 20 going on 21 or whatever like that. A lot of these guys could have been 18 playing, under 20 hurling, just out of under 17. So that crop of players probably aren't developed yet. And a lot of them, like, are typical Cork hurlers where, they're like, I'm small, like, we're lovely hurlers, and we just haven't bred a few, Kerrod Hegarty's, I suppose, for want of a better description yet. Like Mark Keane coming home from Australia was obviously a huge boost that he chose hurling, and like this year he's probably bedded in, so hopefully, if next year goes again, that his hurling will improve and he'll be challenging for positions and stuff like that. But It's very difficult to speak from the outside of what's going on inside. But there's like they could turn around on Sunday and have a great win, and as you said a while ago, the Cork support could be, cock a hoop again and off we go again. But I think that there is something that, like, again, it reminds me so much of 16. Like, where, like, I did a bike shop opening in 2016 for my friend, and he was expecting a crowd to turn up, myself and Alan Cadigan. 4 people turned up, and 2 of them turned up to just abuse us, so it was just so reminiscent of everything going wrong.
Wow, what was that like? Like, when you think?
Yeah. Terrible, like, because, like, the year itself, like, I want, like, when you finish a career, to be Donegal Callan came in and spoke to us once, right, and they had lost with Munster in a game that I can't remember which campaign it was, and he said to us that how lucky we were that our season was about to start, because he'd given his left hand to be at the start of his season again, and he had to wait a full summer to go again. And in 16, that was how I felt for 17. I wanted just to be back in the training field and right the wrongs, you know what I mean? So, like, as a player, you just can't wait to get out there again. And that winter for me was probably the worst, because the abuse we were getting, questioning about, like, everyone was about to be dropped and all this stuff, like, and all Kieran did at that stage was he brought Pat Ryan in as coach. And 17, we went on to win Munster again, and challenged in All-Ireland semi-final. So, like, it could be just one little thing like that could take, it could change in the season currently even.
Yeah. The last thing about this that I'm just interested in is, like, how close you feel they are, and I guess this comes down to the change of style, right? Last year they reached an All-Ireland final. The All-Ireland final was obviously a historic performance from Limerick, and you'd have to argue, like, a really bad performance from Cork as well factored into that. So it wasn't all just Limerick were amazing. It was like Cork did not perform on the day, and so I guess they went over the winter, we're going to have to do something different if we're going to overcome this. You can't do that in one season. And they're in the middle of this transition, and the transition is breaking down a little bit because players are falling back on old habits. Like, if you're going to have a future with this group, you kind of need to commit to them, and these are the hard yards that they need to wade through.
Yeah, big time. Like, I look at Kilkenny at the moment, like, and I did a thing there last week, and I was saying, like, that how many teams have we ever seen go back to a goalkeeper in Kilkenny under Brian Cody? Like, that never happened. And then, like, they got turned over a couple of times against Galway, but, like, you're doing the right thing by gaining possession. Like, the one thing about Cork is I feel that they're, with the game plan from last year, was they got the ball and they attacked at pace, like they were gone. There was numbers overlaps being created. And this year they're just holding onto that ball for that extra second and maybe hand passing sideways more laterally than going forward again. So I think that was the biggest change. I don't know why that has come into it, because, as you said, last year, once they're in the final, they had teams frightened with their goal creation. So, I felt if they'd kicked on with that and continued with that to create headaches, but, like, when they're kind of holding on to the ball in the defence, you're allowing opposition to first set up in their defence and second of all to attack you, as in, like, their corner forwards tackling the corner back. So hopefully they'll go a little bit more, forward earlier. I'm not a massive edge of the square driving the ball, but, like, get out of the defence a bit quicker and get to the delivery point around the middle of the field and go back to Cork hurling with diagonal balls into the corner, you know what I mean? And that's what the forwards would want as well. But, like, you're 100% correct. If this is what they're trying to do, they have to stick with him. And as I said a second ago, like, Brian Cody has obviously got Paddy Deegan sitting in the defence going backwards, Owen Murphy, who can then create the ball. Of course there's going to be mistakes, but you have to bear with it and stick with it to get the good days.
Yeah, good stuff. Anthony, great to have you with us this morning. Thanks a million. That was really interesting. Cheers.
Thanks, lads.
It's Anthony Nash there, former Cork goalkeeper, joining us as part of the Air Grid timing sponsorship launch.